Okay, well, again, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining in today. My name is Liz Gandy with Keller Williams Platinum Realty, and today we have some local experts in the Houston area. We have Eric Burciaga with Cardinal Financial.
Howdy, howdy.
And with Goosehead Insurance, we have Pat Torma.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me, Liz.
Sure thing. And with Patent Title, we have Aldridge Jack.
Hi, everybody. It is a fabulous Friday.
It is a fabulous Friday. Thank you, Aldridge. Okay, if you guys can let me know if you see everything good, I'm going to go ahead and start my presentation. Does everybody see this okay?
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't see it, so do you mind to click on something wrong?
Maybe on the settings, when you're viewing the screen, try to change your layout. You think that works? Let me know if you can see it okay, Aldridge.
Do I just click on your name, Liz, or?
Yeah, on the bottom right, there should be a little area where you can click on it and change your layout. Do you see that?
Okay, change layout. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I got it. See it now. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good. Okay, a little bit about myself. I joined KW Platinum, which is located off 290 Highway in the Northwest area. I just joined this past March, right when COVID decided to hit. I have two children, 11 and 7-year-olds. They are two girls. Spare time, I like to run for fun. Call me crazy, even in this humid heat in Houston. I do have a passion for helping others and helping my clients get what they need. It's something that brings joy to me. There's my contact information at the bottom of the screen. You need to get a hold of me. But the main purpose of this seminar today, for those of you that are joining in and watching this live video, what do you want to learn about the home buying process? Just something to kind of sit back in your mind there. So some things that we're going to cover today. I'll try to go through it really quickly because I know that our attention span is very short. Fears versus facts about home buying, realities of our market today, what's going on, some simple steps to home ownership, and financing, which Eric with Cardinal Financial will go over, and then what are your next steps? Okay, so fear versus facts. Fear, I can't afford to buy a home right now. So you really don't know what you can afford until you do the math, and you don't really know what you can afford. So talking with a financial advisor or your lender and knowing your debt to ratio, helping you understand what you can actually afford, that's something I highly recommend before you actually start going out and looking at any properties. Another fear, I should wait until the market gets better. Fact, there's never a bad time to buy the right home. And we don't know what the future is going to be like, but we can tell, what's going on right now. And again, if you find the right home, why would that be a bad time, right? Fear, I don't have the money to do a down payment. So there are a variety of down payment options that are actually available for you. Another fear, I can't afford to buy my dream home. So the best way to get it closer to buying your dream home is to buy your first home. So another one, I can't afford to buy a home because my credit isn't very good. There are always options around this. And I know that the credit score has kind of gone up and down since COVID-19, which Eric can kind of go more in depth with to explain that. Another fear, I should wait until I'm certain about my domestic future. So you don't have to wait until you're married, partnered, or ready to have children to buy a home. Buying a home seems way too complicated. Well, when you hire the right agent for you to help you throughout the process, I don't see how that would make things complicated. The agent is there to make things a lot easier for you. I should pay off my student loan debt before buying a home. I have student loan myself, a student debt. That's not something I would wait on, to be honest. Student loan debt doesn't prevent anyone from buying a home. I bought my first home, still living in it. When I was 25 is when I purchased my first home. We can go a little bit about the interest rates with Eric. So we'll go kind of skip this here, and the principal and interest payment. So owning versus renting. If you are a renter, please listen in. So purchase a home for $250,000 and pay $1,200 a month toward your mortgage, or pay $1,200 a month toward your landlord's mortgage. So why pay somebody else's mortgage, right? When you can pay it into your own investment. So total over 30 years, you're paying $435,000, and then total over 30 years, $432,000 towards someone else. So you own an asset that has grown in value well over this amount. You own nothing when you're paying all this towards somebody else's. So there are some reasons why you should hold off on buying, and these are some of them. If you're changing jobs, your credit score or down payment, you're not there yet, or it's just too expensive right now. So realities of our market. So the average home price here in Houston is right around the 298, so a little under 300,000. Low interest rates right now. Eric, you can go more into that, but 3.25% was the lowest I heard for this week. I don't know if it's lower than that or if it's gone back up. Is it a buyer's market or is it seller's market? I get asked this question a lot. So right now is a really good time for buyers because of the low interest rates. We're still historically at a really low interest rate. The only problem that we're running into with the buyers is that the inventory is still really low, which is definitely been an effect with COVID-19. So 6 easy steps to home ownership, which we'll go over. You're going to hire your agent. 2, you're going to secure your financing. 3, go out shopping, find your home. 4, you're going to make an offer, your due diligence, and negotiate. 5, you're going to get your home inspection and negotiate repairs. And then 6, you're going to go to closing. This is my KW app, which I can forward to you or put in the link of underneath the video. So this is like an easier way. You can put in landmarks to go and find your perfect home. It's an easy way to search neighborhoods. So step 1, hire your agent. Again, my name is Liz Gandy. I will help educate you about the market, analyze your wants and needs. We'll have a very thorough conversation about this and consultation. I'll steer you to homes that fit your criteria, coordinate the work of other professionals, which are here with me today, negotiate on your behalf, and solve any problems that may arise. So what we do before we go out and start looking is I'll have you sign a buyer representation agreement. And what that is you hiring me as your agent. It's going to set the mutual expectations in writing. It's going to commit me to finding the perfect home for you. And 3, it's going to confirm exclusivity between the both of us. So when to hire your agent, that should be the number 1 step. Or, you know, right after you talk with your lender and you want to secure that financing first. So 1 and 2 kind of go hand in hand. I'm going to hand the baton over to Eric if you want to go ahead and go into the financing portion.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'll do my presentation thing. Make sure I can get this entire screen. Share. And y'all let me know if you can see it the right way, because it's the first time I've done a presentation this way.
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So like Liz said, I'm Eric Burciaga with Cardinal Financial, actually located right here in Houston, kind of Galleria area. A real quick background on me. Again, I'll keep it brief because I know, like Liz said, attention span isn't the highest right now. I started in oil and gas doing project financing, focusing mostly on taking small manufacturing facilities off the grid and tapping them into natural gas pipelines. Loved it, did fairly well in it, but honestly, I just wasn't getting the fulfillment I wanted out of life. I was helping businesses, but I really wasn't having a direct impact on people. So found this industry, fell in love with it. My brother and I got started in it a few years ago now, and he moved over with me. And then we have our own branch now as of December, and we have just had a blast. Cardinal has been nothing but great to us. They've given us anything and everything we need, anything we ask. They have been extremely a big blessing in our lives. But with that, I'll get started on kind of the stuff you guys want to know about. So the main stages in the process of buying a home is pre-approval, find the right home, going under contract. You can see all of them right there, and we'll dive into more later on. But Liz kind of touched on a lot of it. A lot of it has to do with interest rates right now, and so I'm excited to talk about that. I'll get to that a little bit later. But they really are like 40-year lows right now, guys. They're tremendous. There's a reason everyone's refinancing. But to get pre-approved, as Liz said, kind of steps 1 and 2 go together. Either you meet with her first, you meet with me first. But the first stage on the financing side is getting you pre-approved. This is essentially stating that you are a qualified borrower who's able to put an offer on a home with the amount the pre-approval is written up to. So you can go and you show Liz. I'll send her I'll CC her on the email when I write the pre-approval up. But it'll state like, so-and-so is pre-approved for this amount of a purchase price at this kind of, this type of loan. And then you guys can go make an offer and all that stuff. Things we need for that, that's kind of more than what we actually will need. I put everything up there, but your driver's license, social security card, your last 30-day pay stubs. A lot of times we can do that with just one pay stub. W-2s from the last 2 years. Again, a lot of times just 1 year, and then a lot of times again on just 1 year on the tax returns. But we put 2 there just because sometimes we do need that. So I went ahead and put more than what we actually will need for sure. And then you find the right home. So this is the exciting part. You get with Liz, you go out home shopping. She shows you the great homes that you like, and then you put an offer in. And then when you get an offer in, that's when you go under contract, and that's when our side really begins. We send out the initial disclosures. And what the initial disclosures have is any and every possible fee that could be there. We have to disclose all that up front by law, so you're aware of what you can pay at closing. Now, it's going to be a higher number than what you're actually going to come to closing with when we balance with title, and Aldridge can touch on that. But we will let you know everything up front so you're not caught off guard. That's the last thing we want. We want you to feel as if it's a transparent process, so you're happy at closing just as you were when you originally went into contract. Our processors here are great. You get assigned the processor in this stage. They've all been in the state of Texas for at least 10 years. That's huge. Why? Because places I've worked before, they were out of North Carolina or they were out of California, and they don't know the Texas law and regulations, which are extremely unique to Texas, as are a lot of things. So they know very well. They're phenomenal. The processors are really the backbone of our branch. They do a tremendous job making sure that we can go smoothly and just have a happy closing at the end of the day. We'll also lock your rate, and I'll touch on that in the next slide, but that's when we're also finalizing the loan program you're using and the interest rate that you're going to have. So there's 3 main type of loans. There's also things, of course, like jumbo and all that fun stuff, but these are the main ones people are going to use. FHA is a 3.5% down payment and 550 minimum credit score. That's huge because it's been 620 since the coronavirus started. And we just literally this morning bumped all the way down to 550 on their minimum credit score. So a lot of people that couldn't get qualified are now able to. And so we're excited for them about them getting into their home. Conventional usually is 5% down payment, but for first-time home buyers, we can go down to 3% down payment. It's a 640 minimum credit score. Personally, I would suggest that even if you have a 640 or a 660, I would still go FHA because those rates are going to be the best ones you're going to find. It's not until you get to like the 680, 690 where you start seeing it beneficial to go. When it starts being beneficial to go conventional. VA, of course, I mean, that's a phenomenal one. It's 0% down. There's no actual minimum credit score. We just suggest a 580 for interest rates reasons. And I'll touch on their interest rates right now, guys. I locked someone this morning at a 2.875. I haven't gone above a 3.25 in the last month. So, I mean, they are extremely, they're at 40-year lows. If you're going to buy, now is a great time to buy because the interest rates have dropped like crazy. Again, high 2s to low 3s is what I'd say is generally what people are going to fall into. Your stages of approval, you're conditionally approved. That's when we've submitted everything from, it's gone to me to processing, and then processor submits it to the underwriters. The underwriters will either give you a conditionally approval, which means that you have everything we need. You're good to go. We just need 1 or 2 documents to verify the last couple things. Ideally, we get to clear to close within a couple days after that, and we're good to go. The closing disclosures, again, they're similar to the initial disclosures, except these are the exact final numbers you're going to have. So you know what you're going to need to bring for closing costs and down payment when you get to the closing table. You'll get that ahead of time. So again, you're not caught off guard. That's the last thing we want. And that's it. That's my quick little 3 to 5 minute presentation. Again, if you guys have any questions, reach out to me separately or reach out to Liz. She knows how to get to me, and I'd be happy to help. And so I don't know who's going next, Liz, but I'll go ahead and try to end my presentation if I can figure out how to do it. There we go.
Great, thank you. Okay, let's go back into it. Are y'all able to see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's try to go through, get to step 3 here. So now that you have gone through and talked with your lender here, we're going to go out and actually find your home. So a lot of people, first place they go to is online. There's HAO.com and then the KW app that I mentioned earlier. Those are my 2 recommended top apps to use for home finding. And so what you're looking for, you're going to look at your layout, your space, location to work and schools, especially if you plan on having little ones in the future. Schools are great to research and look up, because if you're in a good school district, whether you do plan on having children or not, just know that the appreciation, the value is always going to appreciate in those areas. And then your features and amenities. I look for how the home compares in terms of size, layout, and value from other homes in the area, of recently sold homes, potential resale value, and those big ticket items such as the roof, the HVAC, maintenance, structural concerns, and all of that. So step 4, make an offer and negotiate. So say you do have found the perfect home, you're ready to make an offer. I sent you, comps of the area. So now you're ready to make your offer and negotiate to try to get closer to the price that you were thinking of. So the offer must reflect true market value of the home, and that's where I step in and help you with that. 6 basic categories address timing and financial considerations, and then contingencies, often referred to as conditions that allow you to opt out of a deal if the home has a problem. So step 4 and 5 are kind of hand in hand. I like to kind of combine those, but inspection and repairs. So during your option, after your offer has been accepted by the seller, you are going to be under a 10-day option period. It's normally 7 to 10 days. I like to always request at least 10 days because, especially right now, inspectors are really busy with helping other buyers. So I like to give that 10 days so that we have enough time to get all the inspections completed. So you'll have your home inspector go out. For example, recently my buyer had to do a pool inspection too, and also you want to do a termite inspection. So getting all those inspectors out there that specialize in each category, you want to at least have 10 days to do so. And if there is anything that brings up concerns, like those major ticket items like the roof, plumbing, or electrical, we might have to hire an additional person to go out there who specializes in that to take a look to see if there's anything more serious going on. But also during this time frame, we will be shopping homeowners insurance, and I would like to pass the baton over to Patrick with that. So Pat, go ahead and talk about that with the homeowners.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't have a PowerPoint, but I am going to present my screen in just a minute. But I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. So I'm an independent insurance broker with Goosehead Insurance. I've been in the insurance business for 11 years now. And what we do is we work hand in hand with Liz, and we shop your policy, Liz and Eric. We shop your policy with about 20 different companies. Many times we're going to be able to uncover savings. On top of that, we'll look at your car insurance because there's huge discounts for bundling your insurance. And so that's what I always recommend to a home buyer when you're shopping for insurance. Make sure you're taking a look at the car insurance too. Just yesterday, I saved somebody $2,400 a year on their car insurance. They were paying $635 a year with a large, well-known insurance company, and we were able to get them with another large, well-known insurance company for about $200 a month less. So that's not uncommon working with me. And so I'm going to present my screen, and what I'd like to do is just walk you through a actual quote and explain some of the coverage items, and then also go over some of the optional coverage things that unless you have it on there, it's just not going to be covered. So let's see. So I'm going to present my screen now, and let's see. So can y'all see this quote, guys? Yep.
I see
Okay.
it.
Yes, we can.
So this is for a newly constructed house in North Houston. You'll see it's for Susan Home Byerson, 7813 Maxwell Street. It's the home was built in 2019, and I'm just going to walk you through a quote like I would, if I'm talking with the client. So taking a look up here, you'll see the coverage. One of the most important things is the dwelling coverage. So that's the coverage that covers the actual structure of the home. Okay, so and looking at this house, we'll just look at the stats on the house real quick. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,600 square foot, mostly brick home. We have a calculator that takes the square footage, the construction type, and it's gonna give us an estimate of how much it would cost to rebuild that house brick by brick, nail by nail, exactly how it is now. So as you can see, that's coming in at 194,000, right? And then all the other coverage limits are based off of the dwelling coverage. Okay, so God forbid there's a total loss and the house burns down to the ground, they're going to pay up to 194,000 to rebuild the house. Automatically, there's 10% in coverage for other structures. That's going to cover your fence line. If you happen to have a shed in the backyard, that would be covered under that amount. Personal property is typically 50% of the dwelling coverage, so that's 97,000 for all your contents. That covers common household goods, clothes, furniture, electronics. There are some limitations when it comes to jewelry and firearms. So if you happen to have an expensive engagement ring, necklace, watch, we can always insure that on a separate policy. Same goes if you happen to have a firearm collection, we can always insure that separately. So, and then the other coverage items we've got are loss of use. You'll see on this policy, it's $38,800. That's going to pay for your hotel bills or fair rental value. If you are outside of the house due to a homeowner's claim, that's going to pay to rent a place while the house is being repaired. Okay. Liability, we've got at 500,000. Medical payments, 5,000. Both of those are going to cover you if somebody happens to slip, trip, or fall on the property. Okay. So if somebody gets hurt, that's so that they don't sue you. That's going to pay for it, right? And then something important that you always want to make sure you're aware of is your deductible limits. On this particular policy, we have a 1% deductible for wind and hail. So that's 1% of the dwelling coverage. So you would pay $19.40 in the event of let's say a hurricane rips off the roof. You're going to pay $19.40. The policy is going to pay the rest. And then there's the all other perils deductible, what some carriers call the policy deductible. We also have that at 1%. That would cover things like fire, theft, sudden and accidental discharge of water. And then the optional coverage items you see over here would be covered under the all policies deductible. So, and then there's 3 optional coverage items that you need to be aware of. Leakage and seepage is something that is not automatically covered by most homeowners policies. So you want to make sure that you look at including that. On this particular policy, it's going to cover all the way up to the $194,000 limit. Okay. So God forbid you have a slow leak that you can't see because it's behind a wall. Let's say it causes $50,000 in damage. That's going to be covered as long as we include this endorsement. And all of these endorsements together, they cost about $15 a month to include. So about $200 a year more than if you don't have them on there. The foundation is also going to be covered in this particular case. If there is a slow leak into the foundation which causes a crack, that's not covered unless you have it endorsed under most policies. So again, make sure you're looking at including these optional coverage items. And then lastly, we have sewage backup or water backup. If the sewage system happens to overflow into the house, again, not covered under most policies. So those are the three really important coverage items that you want to consider. And then another thing that I'll discuss, homeowners insurance does not cover you against a flood. Okay. We are in Harris County, right by the coast, and we've gotten by 3 years without having a major flood event. But it's not a matter of if it's going to flood. We know that Houston floods. Liz is going, I'm sure that you and Liz, in your process of finding that house, will probably discuss if the house is in a higher risk flood zone. Isn't that right, Liz?
Yes. So before we go out onto the property, I do like to do the taxes and flood map so that the buyer can kind of look at that to make sure that they're comfortable if it's not like out of the 500-year floodplain, which is like zone X. There's different zones on the flood map, but we kind of have in the matrix with the back end of it, I can get that information for the buyer to kind of look over.
Right, and so that's a big concern if you're buying a house here in the Houston area. And you mentioned an X flood zone. If it's in a preferred, what we call a preferred risk flood zone, that means that the maximum that you'll pay through the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, which is through FEMA, the federally backed flood insurance, the maximum you'll pay. And this number changes every year. Congress approves it, and so the rates change about once a year. But right now, it's $516 is the most that you'll pay per year. And when you think about it, it's about what is that? It's less than $50, or it's probably like $40, around $45 a month is what it equals. That covers the house at $250,000, contents at $100,000. But and one thing I'll say about preferred risk floods, flood zones, 40% of the area underwater during Hurricane Harvey was in a preferred risk flood zone. So just because it's not required by the lender, does not mean that it won't flood. If it rains hard enough anywhere, there's a chance that there'll be flooding. So and this week we have had some hellacious rain and thunderstorms, and it's just a reminder to me that in any day now we could have a hurricane coming towards us. So but you can protect yourself. It doesn't cost much to have your house covered. And Liz, I appreciate the opportunity to be here today and share. And that really concludes. I'll stop presenting now. That concludes everything that I had.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Pat. That was very thorough. So thank you for going into that. And yes, Houston, I mean, if anybody was here during Harvey, it was very scary, traumatic, I could say. So it's recommended no matter what zone you really are in. I mean, to me, that's just going to depend on the rate of what you're paying. But I do recommend getting that flood insurance. I'm going to go ahead and present now. Entire screen. Here we go. I'm going to go back into my slide. So we've done inspections and repairs. We've gotten a quote on your homeowner's insurance, and everything seems to be going pretty well. So again, 7 to 10 days after you put the offer has been executed. So the property inspection exposes any structural or hidden issues. Don't sweat the small stuff. So during those inspections, it can get a little scary, like how you see in this picture to the right. There's a lot of cosmetics. So the home inspector is there to point out every single flaw of the house, but don't let those little small things, scare you. It's the big stuff that matters the most. So cracks are crumbling in the foundation, cracks inside the house over the windows, water stains in the ceilings. Those are kind of alarming. Faded or worn shingles, plumbing or electrical problems, mold or termite issues. So step 6 is close and be a homeowner. So your lender is going to hire the appraiser to go out and appraise the property. And so once you meet the value of that, we can move forward and things go to underwriting. So step 6, I'm going to hand the baton to Aldridge here. Step 6 is when we go to title and we close on the home.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. I want to share with you all, we have a nice little book. And the book right here that we have is called the Home Buyer's Handbook. So the good thing about the Home Buyer's Handbook is that basically it gives you the terminology about basic things that you need to know as you're buying your first home. So on the first couple of pages we have here, we talk about the vocabulary words, which are different types of transactional glossary words that you may or may not be familiar with. On the next couple of pages, we talk about the closing process, the pre to close, what's going on, when you're actually sending the executed contract for the house. We do have at Patent Title, we have 6 locations. We are known for the mobile closings that we can do for you as long as the house is $250,000 or higher. It is actually complimentary. Besides that, we do have a wonderful software that's called Qualia. With Qualia is very cool because once you log in with your username and password one time, you actually can see the process of your file. Just like if you think of a Domino's when you're ordering a pizza, you can see the timelines from the beginning to the end, all the steps of what you have to do. If you don't want to call and talk to someone on the phone at the actual office, you can actually look at the timeline through our software, which is called Qualia. Also, with our book, we do talk about different tips, talk about the title commitment, closing disclosure. We also give you the tips of Schedule A, Schedule B, Schedule C, Schedule D, which talks about the different tips of the property and maybe different liens and stuff that's on the property, like tips to give you about the property. Also, on the next couple of pages, we talk about what is the power of attorney. Also, we talk about what is the homestead. Homestead is very important because if you're trying to get that discount on actually your property, you have to send in the paperwork in through a timely manner. So those are things that, we actually educate you on, and also just different tips on the closing on your home. And at the very end of the actual pamphlet, we also have what is the 6 locations, and we talk about, all the different things that we can do. One thing I can say that we're very unique about our company is that we're very customer service goal oriented. So basically, we have 3 core values. We give the hair off our back. So for example, if you call up here after 5:30, we're answering our phones, the emails. Ernesto Garcia is my preferred escrow officer, but we also have other escrow people on our team. So if Liz is sending an email, or if Eric is sending an email, we get back to people in timely manner, where someone's always answering your emails and call in a timely manner. We also go by BIP, which is very intensified individual professional services. So we're very, customer service goal oriented. And also we have our in-house attorney. So if we have an example owner finance deal, we don't have to go to our underwriters. We actually have Ashley Patton, and he can go to him in-house as an attorney to get those answers for you right away. The last thing I want to mention to you that I created, this is called a property book. And a property book basically is a book that talks about everything about a property. So me representing Liz, any type of listing that she gives me for our clients that actually will be actually buying a house from her, I will make a property book on behalf of Liz that talks about all the wonderful things about that actual, property. So it gives all the background knowledge about the actual property. Just want to show you briefly, we have information about title premium, has other things right here about, 20 open houses, tips and tricks. We have an elevation certificate. I like that Patrick, for insurance, he gave us a nice quote from one of my clients, which he was talking about earlier. Also, we have the seller disclosure, which I know Liz knows that's very important to talk about a property before you're about to purchase it.
Yeah, before we make an offer on any home, that is something that you have to go through and ask me as many questions as possible, and that will need to be signed with the offer.
Also, background information about the schools that's in the community. Talks about, the actual STAR test, parents like to know all the information. Also, we have information about the community. And basically, that's the whole purpose of a property book. And at the very end, I like that he has to have a quote about, how much it will be estimated, like a net sheet, per month for that house. So a property book is something that you will get from me on behalf of Liz, because, at Patent Title, we says here at Patent Title, Real Title Solutions, nothing but the best. So we take care of all our clients, and Liz is one of our clients that we want to make sure we take care of, as well as Patrick and Mr. Eric. Thank you.
Thank you, Aldridge. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pat, for the homeowners insurance breakdown and the bundle and all the information that you provided. Eric, thank you so much for joining and explaining the lending side of everything. You guys are great, and it takes a team. It's like it takes a village during the travel. It takes a team and team effort to really help buyers and sellers, throughout the whole contracts to close through home buying and home selling. So again, thank you guys so much, and thanks for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me, Liz. I really appreciate it.
And happy belated birthday, Liz. I'm still taking you out in July when you're ready.
Thank you. I can't wait until I can go do a real celebration.
For sure.
So I'm holding my husband to it too. But all right, thank you so much.
Have a fabulous Friday.
You too.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.